Americans read this? Americans read? Americans read? Nice and controlled. Sounds great. Lower dynamic levels are your friend today. Americans read? National emblem, please. National emblem. 18. Tell me what's time. We good? One more. One more. This will be it until the ceremony. National emblem. Remember, it's okay to be down here until we're not. All right? Here we go. Not fast.
ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could get everybody's attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can grab your attention real quick. We'd like everybody to move to your seats and silence all cell phones. The ceremony is going to start in about 2 minutes. And we're going to start it with a flyover of 2 F-16 Fighting Falcons from the 180th Fighter Wing of the Ohio Air National Guard. The flyover is going to come from the south, this direction, my left, your right, to the north. You're going to see the aircraft before you hear them, so if you want your cell phones out to capture that, go ahead and do that now. They coming in? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you are able for the rendering of honors and remain standing for our national anthem. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Veterans Memorial and Museum. My name is Bill Butler, Colonel, U.S. Army retired, and I'm the Chief of Staff here at the museum. Thank you for joining us to remember and celebrate and commemorate those who gave their last full measure of devotion to our country. You just witnessed two F-16s from the 180th Fighter Wing, Ohio Air Guard, conduct a flyover to kick off our ceremony. Before we start, I'd like to say a big thank you to Brainstorm Media, Coda, Honda, and Lane Aviation for their support of today's Memorial Day celebration and ceremony. We'd also like to thank Big Lots, Battelle, the AEP Foundation, FedEx, Cardinal Health, and the Association of the United States Army for their support in making days like this, like today, possible. And finally, thank you to the American Legion, AMVETS, and the VFW for providing year-round access to active duty military members. I'd also like to recognize one of our great supporters here at the museum, one of our key local elected officials, and that's Army veteran, Ohio Senator Herschel Craig. Sir, thank you for joining us. Senator Craig brought with him today a proclamation signed by the Ohio Senate in honor of the museum, and more importantly, in honor of those men and women who gave their lives in service to our country. So thank you for bringing that, Senator. Much appreciated. Please stand for the invocation by Chaplain Captain David Grady, the 121st Air Refueling Wing, Ohio Army National Guard.
Good morning. Please bow your head and pray with me. You may pray in your own way or take a moment of silence. Heavenly Father, be with us as our nation pauses today to remember those who have given their lives for our freedom that we are enjoying here today. We pray that your favor falls on this nation and its people. Be with all who have served in the armed forces and their loved ones. We ask that you grant your loving protection over us. Let peace prevail among all nations, but especially ours. Father, I pray that you guide us and keep us. Give us wisdom and faith for the days yet to come. Bless this service, its speakers, and all who were a part of bringing us here together today. In your name, amen.
Please take your seats. Thank you, Chaplain Grady. I'd now like to introduce our founding president and Chief Executive Officer, Lieutenant General Mike Farrader. General Farrader served in our Army for 35 years, is a combat veteran with multiple tours of duty in Iraq and one in Mogadishu, Somalia. He's a career infantryman, paratrooper, and Army Ranger, and he's been leading our organization from the very beginning as the first employee hired here at the museum until today. In 2021, he was also inducted into the Ranger Hall of Fame, as well as the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. So without any further ado, please welcome our President and CEO.
Thank you, Bill, and welcome everybody. Let's also give a big round of applause for our band and the great music that they're providing for us today. So most importantly, and normally I do start, it's a great day to be a veteran, and it's a great day to be in Columbus, and it's a great day to be with you. But Memorial Day is not really a great day. It's an important day. And so as we have comradeship and fellowship here, I want to welcome the families of the fallen. I want to welcome the veterans, families, friends, and honored guests to our Memorial Day ceremony. You have given so much, and today is about the loved one that you remember. Welcome to General Mike Garrett, our keynote speaker, to Command Sergeant Major Omari Ballou, and to Eddie Laredo, Gold Star Child, who will participate in bringing the wreath forward. I'm humbled to be here with you today to commemorate the lives of our fallen on Memorial Day. Last night, We had a very impactful Gold Star family candlelight vigil as we walked from here into the Memorial Grove and honored the families of the fallen and the fallen. It's a difficult ceremony, but the families who have lost loved ones and those who have lost friends and comrades in arms, it is healing to speak the names and share the lives of those we have lost. To the families of the fallen, if you're a member of the family of the fallen, would you please stand so we could recognize you? Eddie, you can stand. Here at the National Veterans Memorial and Museum, we remember the price paid for our freedom every single day. In fact, one of the reporters asked me, you know, most of America is having picnics and parades and gatherings. Doesn't that kind of upset you that they're doing that? And I said, no, that's why we serve. We serve to give the freedom for Americans to fully and thoroughly enjoy their lives with each other. Since the Civil War, more than 1.3 million Americans have paid the ultimate price for our freedoms. Think about that number. An incredible number of lives to protect our country and our way of life. Every one of them was a son or daughter or sister or brother or mother or father. For more than 155 years, it's been the custom of our communities to place flowers and flags on the graves of those who lost lives during service to the country. Memorial Day remains a day of honor to honor our fallen service members and to share the memories. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, "Those who have long enjoyed such privileges as we enjoy forget that in time that men have died for them." Ceremonies like this allow us to continue sharing the stories of those exhibited the most selfless act of serving. We all say they signed a blank check for their life to serve and protect us all. During this weekend especially, but all throughout the year, it's important to teach the next generation what Memorial Day is really about. So this is important to the families who may not know much about the service members' lives in the military or in deployment. This place, the National Veterans Memorial and Museum, is here to provide the space where families and active duty members, Gold Star families and friends can connect to the veteran stories and, most importantly, connect to one another. Last night, Major General Sharon Bannister told the story of her father, who was shot down in Vietnam, and he was a MIA for a number of years. And she described how lost families of MIA are, how closure has not occurred. And so I'd ask you just also to honor our MIA on this very special day for our fallen. Thank you all for taking your time from your weekend to be here. It's up to all of us to honor and keep alive these stories. Thank you. And we will now hear the recorded remarks from U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown.
We'll try to get to those. We'll try to get to those later. So now I'd like to welcome our keynote speaker, General Mike Garrett. General Garrett is an Ohio native born in Cleveland, but he was the son of an Army command sergeant major, so he lived all over the world with his family as an Army brat. His father's service inspired him to also serve our Army. He attended Xavier University, commissioned through the Army ROTC program there, and then served for 37 years. His service took him and his family all over the world. We first met in 1993 when I was First Lieutenant Butler. He was Captain Mike Garrett, and Major Mike Ferreter were all on the 3rd Ranger Battalion. But he's a career infantry officer, Army Ranger, and paratrooper as well. He's got multiple combat deployments to Iraq and another to Afghanistan, and he most recently served as a commanding general for U.S. Forces, or U.S. Army Forces Command, one of only 17 Army 4-star positions in our military. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General Mike Garrett, U.S. Army retired.
Good morning. And happy Memorial Day. Now, that's a loaded phrase, isn't it? I say happy Memorial Day because I'm an optimist, and those words roll off my tongue. But I think we all know that this is not inherently a happy day across our country. We set aside the last Monday each May to honor our nation's 1.3 million fallen service members and to reflect on their sacrifice, which for some makes this day and this very ceremony a reminder of another year gone by without a family member, loved one, or teammate by our side. And to be honest, I'm not sure how any one person is supposed to feel on a day like today. Nor do I think one big, overwhelming emotion in any of our hearts can do justice to all the feelings and memories bouncing around inside of us. Life and death are much more complicated than that, especially when we're talking about the lives of patriots and leaders and the deaths of heroes and warriors. So if you don't know how you feel this Memorial Day, or even if you know exactly how you feel, but you don't want to talk about it, then I'm just here to say that's okay. This can be an incredibly personal occasion, flooded with incredibly personal thoughts and memories. And maybe what's most important is that we are together. That each and every one of us got out of bed this morning to spend time with neighbors and fellow Americans. Not because we would all feel the same way, but we could all feel however we find ourselves feeling at one another's side. So if today is a happy Memorial Day for you, then that's how you feel. You get to be happy, and we're grateful you've chosen to share your happiness with us. But if you're sad, then that's how you get to feel, and you get to be sad. Memorial Day can be a sad, solemn occasion, especially for those of us who were closest to those who paid the ultimate price. Let this be a time to grieve and reflect, and allow me to thank you for choosing to share your sadness with us. The same goes for any and all feelings you brought to the National Veterans Memorial this morning. Maybe you're proud, maybe you're angry, maybe you're grateful, or maybe you're just tired. And maybe you feel all those things at once and more. Maybe you don't know how to feel. Maybe you don't feel anything. However you feel, we've got what you need right here. A shoulder to lean on, a moment of peace, a flash of pride, a good story, new inspiration, an old connection, some fresh perspective. And as I said, whatever you need, here you are among the right folks and in the right place. Your memories are your own, but this memorial is our nation's. And perhaps I'm a bit biased, but if there's ever been a country that owes so much to its fallen warfighters, it's us. Because while America certainly did not invent war, war in many ways did help invent America, or at least the strong, free, world-leading version of America that we've allowed ourselves to become. Americans began defending freedom and liberty before they were even technically Americans. The Army's roots trace back to 1775, 1 year before we declared independence and 12 years before we ratified the Constitution. And since then, among all our citizens' achievements in art, science, business, and college football, we've been a nation not defined by war, but by war fighters. Through them, including many of you in today's audience, we have reinforced the idea that bravery, toughness, service, and teamwork stand out as some of our strongest American values. And so too does sacrifice. 1.3 million soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines have died in American wars. Altogether today, they would populate the 9th largest city in this country. Almost all of them were lost before almost all of us were born. But among those 1.3 million are more than 7,000 lives lost in the most recent global war on terror. And that's 7,000 neighbors, loved ones, role models, and patriots who we may have known, who could still have been with us this morning, but gave their lives to stand for and defend something bigger than themselves. Generation by generation, for 247 years, Americans of the time have been saying their own variation of these lines in their own Decoration Day ceremonies and memorial events, because each generation has taken on the opportunity, the duty, to fight for their country. Our fallen warriors' legacies inspire us and they drive us forward. And I am eternally humbled by the 1.3 million souls America is memorializing today. I am grateful for this awesome monument in their memory. I am proud to stand here and reflect on their stories along your side. And I will continue to pray for America's service members and future service members who are ready for the next war, trained to fight for their teams and their country, and prepared to make that next sacrifice. And if and when they do, we will meet back here on the last Monday of May when the flowers are in bloom in spaces like this across the United States to once again honor the unpayable debt we owe our war heroes and their families. If I see you there, I might say, Happy Memorial Day, if that's what's on my mind. But you don't need to say it back to me, because we all deserve to feel the way we happen to feel on a sacred day like this, as long as we can be together. God bless America. God bless our troops and families. God bless those we have lost. And God bless the freedoms that they fought for. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If I can direct everybody's attention to the screens to my left and right, we're going to hear from Senator Sherrod Brown now.
I'm Sherrod Brown. It's an honor to serve Ohio in the U.S. Senate. On Memorial Day, we pause to pay tribute to the members of our military throughout our history, throughout the world, who laid down their lives to keep us safe. Remember the Ohioans who fought under our flag in far-off lands, who left families, who missed birthdays and holidays, who sacrificed their health, who gave their lives, all in service of the country that they loved. We thank their families who sacrifice alongside our service members, yet don't often get the recognition that you deserve. I'm humbled to be the longest serving Ohioan in the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. I take that duty very seriously. It's the most bipartisan, the least partisan committee in the Senate. We get things done. Last year, we took a long overdue step by passing the PACT Act. We named the bill after Ohio and Heath Robinson, who passed away from illnesses relating to his exposure to those football field-sized burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan. The PACT Act's the most comprehensive expansion of benefits for veterans who face toxic exposure in our country's history. It's a cost of going to war. If you were exposed to the toxins while serving our country, you deserve the benefits you earned, period, no exceptions. All 23 presumptive conditions outlined in the bill went into effect immediately. We passed the bill in August. It works the way government should. In January, you could get care from the VA because of that new law. It means no more excuses, no more delays. Veterans have waited long enough. We're working to get the word out to veterans across the state and connect them with the VA to sign up for these benefits. I'm doing roundtables at DAV and VFW and Legion Halls and Polish American veterans all over the state to talk to veterans about signing up for the PACT Act. To those of you who are veterans and service members, don't hesitate to call in my office if we can assist you in securing the benefits that you and your family earned. And this Memorial Day, as we pay tribute to service members who made the ultimate sacrifice, we're reminded that even when some service members come home, there are sometimes invisible wounds of war carry on. Today, too many veterans come home, feel boxed in, like they can't talk to anyone about what's going inside. It's tragic. It's a failure on our part. I'm working on bipartisan legislation to help us do a better job of transitioning service members back into civilian life. Ohioans have answered the call. Communities throughout Ohio know what it means to lose a son or daughter in service to our country. On Memorial Day, we remember their lives. We remember their sacrifice.
Today, we are pleased to be joined by the winners of the We Heart Veterans Pin Design Challenge. Daniel Grinman Rivera, a 7th grade student from San Antonio, Texas, and Harrison Rothschild, an 11th grade student from Copley, Ohio. This nationwide STEM challenge is a joint effort of the Army Educational Outreach Program for grades 4 through 12, and it gives them a chance to test their creativity and engineering skills by designing a 3-dimensional pin that gives thanks to our U.S. military members. Of the more than 1,400 designs that were submitted, Daniel and Harrison's stood apart and were selected as the overall winners. They will be with us the rest of the day distributing their pins as well as the other finalists' pins. To any veterans who would like one, Daniel and Harrison, would you please stand to be recognized? And also, please join me in recognizing Stephanie Johnson, Program Manager for the Army Educational Outreach Program, and our friends at Battelle for creating this very impactful learning opportunity. Thank you. And additionally, we want to recognize 4 of the finalists and Bradley Presser from Reynoldsburg City Schools, whose Fab Lab students printed all of the pins. Thank you. Thank you to Senator Brown, General Garrett, and General Ferriter for your remarks. Eddie, if you could please join the group with Sergeant Major Ballou to do the wreath laying.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
I'd like to welcome to the lectern Command Sergeant Major retired Omari Ballou.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Command Sergeant Major retired Omari Ballou. I served in the Army for 29 years. I have 4 combat deployments, 1 in Bosnia and 3 in Iraq. Today we honor and remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. When a service member joins our armed forces, they sign an oath. And that oath holds them to protect the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And inherent of that role, they know that their country may ask them to make the ultimate sacrifice. Now, a service member doesn't think about the ultimate sacrifice every day, or every year, or even every month or week throughout their service. However, there are constant reminders. And that reminder of the ultimate sacrifice comes in the form of a tap on the shoulder. Whether the service member is on a busy aircraft carrier deck, flying a high-performance aircraft, jumping out of a high-performance aircraft, scaling down a mountain, or living underneath our ocean in a submarine, that tap is still there. It's even more prevalent when you get the first deployment orders, if you have that opportunity. You go to your first outpost, go on your first patrol, your first firefight. By now, that tap on the shoulder is a little bit harder. And as much as you want to give the enemy maximum opportunity to die for their country than you yours, that tap is still there. For most of us, we make it home to our families and our loved ones. For others, not so much. Today, I ask you to remember those who have not made it home. Today, I remember Sergeant Alan L. Stigler, Jr., 2nd Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, Mosul, Iraq, August 2017.
I will always remember Corporal Paul Kludak, United States Marine Corps.
I will always remember Staff Sergeant Eduardo Laredo.
I will always remember Sergeant Adam P. Kennedy.
I will always remember First Lieutenant David R. Bernstein, United States Army.
I would always remember Harry Bass, who left high school in the 11th grade, went to Vietnam, died 6 months later.
I will always remember Staff Sergeant Jimmy Moriarty.
I will always remember Colonel Bob Wilkie, killed trying to rescue me.
I'll always remember Corporal Andre Williams, who died in the Battle of Sikla, July 28, 2005, Iraq.
I will always remember my father, PFC Ernest Everly, Sr.
I will always remember Mike Butzko, hospitalman, 3rd Battalion, 26 Marines, who went into a burning tank and got 4 out of 5 guys out of it.
I will always remember my dad, John J. Schultz. He was in World War II, and he was a Japanese prisoner of war and lived to tell about it and escaped from there.
I will always remember the 19 people who died in Vietnam in my recon platoons with the 101st Airborne Division.
I always remember Chief Warrant Officer for Brent, who died in Afghanistan.
I will always remember before I went into the military in Vietnam. Just want to make sure I remember the next door neighbors. It's close.
I will always remember David Dokenberger, who died in Vietnam.
I'll always remember Brian Large, 3504 PIR, Paklani, Iraq.
I will always remember the Sparta Wilkins crew who went down over Romania during World War II, and my great uncle Benjamin Gaynor, who died that day, and Mr. Bill Giambroni, who lived to tell me the story.
I'll always remember Sergeant Michael Taylor, Iraq, 05.
I'll always remember Captain Michael Cerrone, who gave his life in Iraq so we can gather here today.
I will always remember my student, Staff Sergeant Seamus Gore, flight engineer of a Chinook helicopter, shot down in Afghanistan, rescuing a Navy SEALs team.
I'd like to remember Michael Connors, shot down in Laos in 1971, and 16 others of my 6994th Security Squadron shot down in Vietnam.
I'll always remember First Lieutenant Mike Sharvey, United States Marine Corps Cobra pilot in Grenada.
I will always remember members of Task Force Ranger, Mogadishu, Somalia, 6 Army Rangers, 2 Delta Force operators, 2 pilots and crew of the Black Hawk Down.
I will always remember Captain Jack Tomian and DM3 Gary White, who I served with both of them in Vietnam.
I'll always remember classmates Teddy Bond, Willie Durham, went to Central High School in Alcosai, both lost 1969, both Marines.
I'll always remember J. Dwayne Bratton, who served with me on New Yorktown.
I will always remember Sergeant Luke Beechnaw and Private Nick Cook.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, please stand and let us observe a moment of silence and reflect on our loved ones. This will immediately be followed by a volley fire from the firing party and the playing of taps. Please don't be startled by the firing party. Chaplain Grady will now lead us in prayer for the departed.
Please bow your head with me. May Almighty God keep you from all harm and bless you all with every good gift. May he set his word in your hearts and fill you with everlasting joy. May you walk in his ways always, knowing what is right and good, until you enter your heavenly inheritance. Father, be with those who cannot be with us today, and give a double portion to those who've experienced loss. Thank you for this service. Thank you for this opportunity to celebrate those that we love. In your name, amen.
Please take your seats. I'd like to give another thank you to our sponsors for their support of today's memorial ceremony. Without their generosity, free programs and ceremonies like this would not be possible. And finally, I'd just like to remind you that we're a membership-driven organization. The support we receive from memberships help us honor all those who serve our country, every veteran from every branch of service, from all eras of service. If you'd like to learn more about becoming a member or how you can honor a loved one with the gift of a membership, please see Mark or Maureen at the membership table located near the main entrance of the museum. Please feel free to tour the museum, spend as much time as you'd like inside. We've got water in the coolers to the left and to the right, and would just like to thank everybody again for joining us and helping us commemorate our loved ones. Thank you.
Service medley?